All right, so for the auto-generated docs, we're going to start in the doc library. So for that, we're going to go to Settings, Platform Settings, and then the doc library. All right, so this is the library of documents that you have available to you in LendingWise. So if you open up these folders here, you should be able to see the list of all the documents that are available in the system. What we always recommend is anybody comes into your system, we recommend going through these documents, taking a look at the documents. If I click on one of these documents right now, I'm in the settings. So it's just going to show a blank form or a blank document. But if I use this inside of an actual loan file, then it'll pull the information from the loan file and populate it onto the form. They're smart PDFs basically that have been pre-mapped already. So looking through this, there's no information on here at all. So it's just a blank form because again, we're in the settings. So ideally what you want to do is go through these documents one by one. As you open them and you review them, you might decide, okay, that's a useful document, so we can check mark that document. The documents that are check marked are the ones that are going to be available to you inside of the loan files. So ideally you want to go through these and leave the documents that you're not going to use or have no relevance to your business processes, just leave those unchecked and just leave the items that you are going to use checked. And what that does is, number one, it's going to keep you organized, less clutter with your documents. When you need to find a document, it's going to be easier for you. And in addition to that, the exercise of going through all of these documents is going to show you what's available in the system and um let you know if there's a document that's missing. Maybe you don't, maybe there's a document that you'd like to be able to use just like these other auto-generated docs, but it's not available here. So we do have a tool that will allow you to bring in your own custom document. So being able to go through these to find out if there are any missing documents are going to help you figure out which documents you can use the Doc Wizard tool with. Also listed here, you're going to see that some of these documents may have a PDF icon with a red PDF logo, and some of the documents have a blue PDF icon right there. And some of the documents might have both, right? So when you see the red PDF icon, that's just a regular PDF. It's still a smart PDF. It's still, when you use this in the loan file, you're still going to be able to generate a PDF with the information from that loan file auto-populated onto the form so that you or your borrowers don't have to fill out any forms. You don't have to fuss around with copying and pasting or typing in somebody's name incorrectly or an address incorrectly. It's just going to automatically take the information from the loan file and populate it onto the form where it's already been pre-mapped. Then that PDF, you can either download it, you can email it, you can print it, right? It's still going to serve as a regular PDF. But the items with the blue PDF logo or icon, those are PDFs with e-sign capabilities. So you can actually send those documents to the borrower to get e-signed. And in case you forget that, you'll see the key up at the top right here. The blue PDF shows you that it's available as an e-signable or regular PDF, and the red ones are available as a PDF. All right, so go through these documents, make sure the documents that you're going to use in your system are check marked, and the ones that you're not going to use, you could leave those unchecked. All right, now if you find a document that you do want to bring into the system that we don't have on this list, you can use the Doc Wizard tool for that. So for that, you would go to Settings. Let me close this. You go to Settings, and you could scroll down to the Doc Wizard tool. So right here, step one is create the template name. So we'll just call this sample document. And we need to bring in our form, the form or the document that we want to bring in and be able to map it and use it as a smart document. Actually, before I show you how to do this, let me show you how those auto-generated documents work inside of a loan file. So we saw those forms outside. When we view it, it's just an empty form. But if we actually go into a loan file, let's go into this one right here. All right, so now we're inside of the loan file. We're going to go to the Docs tab. So this is normally we're going to see your required documents at the very top, but we're going to scroll, or you can minimize this and scroll down, and you're going to look for the auto-generated docs section down below here. So the documents that we see over here on the left-hand side, these were the documents that you saw in the document library, right? But now that we're inside of an actual loan file, this loan file for George Knapp at 123 Main Street, right? This now we can use this these documents and it'll pull the information from this loan file. So if I wanted to actually view this term sheet here, I could click on the name of the document right here. And this is going to preview the document with the information from the loan file that I'm in. So it's going to generate the document. And I can see here that the term sheet has been auto-populated with the name of the borrower of the loan file that I'm in. And right there, you see the property address just as it's listed on the loan file right there. All right, so any other information that would have been filled out would be completed on this document as well. But if I view that same document back in the doc library, if I go to settings, platform settings, and go to the doc library, I can click on the borrower folder here and I can sample view that same loan term sheet. Because it's in the settings and there's no loan file that I'm viewing this from, it's not showing any information here. But the one that I was viewing from the actual loan file, when I preview that one right here, instead of having the blank document with no information at all on here, this one is actually populating with the information. All right, so it just pulls the information from the loan file that you're in and puts it onto the document wherever it's been already been pre-mapped. So we're going to show you how to do one of these documents now, a custom document, and map it with the fields from the loan file. So to do that, we're going to go down to settings and we're going to go to the Doc Wizard tool. All right, so the first step here is to give your document or template a name. So we're going to call this sample document. And I'm going to import the document that I want to map and use as an auto-generated doc. When you bring a document in, you can only bring in either a Word document or an Excel document or the Google equivalent of that. So it would be either a Google Sheet or a Google Doc. All right, so we're gonna go in here and we're gonna pull this Word document right here. And we're gonna upload it now. All right, so here's our sample form. So the information we want on this form is the borrower's first name, the borrower's last name, the borrower's email address, and the property address. So over here on the right, we see all of the merge tags. So if we open up these sections right here, we open up the drop down to the sections, what we see is the field inside of LendingWise, and then we have the merge tag for that field. So for example, we want to find the borrower's first name, so we can look for the section called the borrower tags. That's where we're going to find the borrower's information. So let me move this out of the way. All right, so we're going to click on the borrower tags to open up that section. And we're going to look for the borrower first name. There's that field for the borrower first name. So now all we have to do is over here, the merge tag is on the right. That's what you see with the 2 hashtags. It says borrower first name, then 2 hashtags. That's called the merge tag. So we're just going to click on the merge tag. And when we click on the merge tag, you're going to see that it copies that merge tag to our clipboard. So we're going to click on that and you see it's been copied. You get that confirmation message that it's been copied to your clipboard. And now we're going to go over to our document and we're going to choose where we want that field to show up on the document. So we're going to put our cursor right there and we're going to do a Control V to paste that merge tag there. So now that information is right there. That's where the borrower's first name is going to show up dependent upon which loan file we use this document in. So now we're going to do the same thing with the borrower's last name. We're going to go over here to the merge tags, look for the borrower's last name, click on that merge tag. It's been copied. Now we're going to go over to the document, choose where we want to paste it, and do a Control V to paste. Some people do a right click to paste, but with this tool, it doesn't work well with this form of pasting. So you want to do that Control V shortcut if you're on a PC. Now, when we want to find the last name, the email, we can scroll down, look for the borrower email right there. We can click on that merge tag. It's been copied. Now we'll go over to the document there and we'll do a Control V to paste the borrower email. And the last one is the property address. So instead of scrolling through all these sections, I can also use this search bar right here because there are quite a lot of different sections and a lot of fields inside each section. So to just cut down on your time searching for a certain field, you could just start typing the field that you're looking for. So I typed in property. So now all of a sudden that list has gotten a lot shorter. All the possible relevant options with the word property in it are currently displayed. And I can trim that list down even more by typing address. And now I'm just getting the 2 fields that have property address in them right now. So full property address or the property address. Full property address is going to contain everything from the street address to the city, state, zip code. And the property address is just going to have your street address. So for this one, I'm going to grab the full property address. It's been copied there. I'm going to go over to the document, do a Control V to paste that. And then I might want to make the question portion of this bold, maybe. And that way we can differentiate that portion of the document from the response there. So now when you're finished mapping your document, you can just go down and click on the Save button. So now the document has been saved. It's saved in my settings. We're working in the settings right now. So everything that we do in the settings is global. It will affect your whole company. So if you have multiple branches, you still need to go into each branch and decide whether you want to enable this document for each of those branches. You might just have one branch, so you would just need to go into one branch to enable this document. But if you have 5 different branches and you want each of those branches to have access to this document, then you'll need to go into each of those 5 branches to enable the document. And the same thing applies for loan programs, documents. You have the ability to control that for each branch. You have the ability to allow certain branches to have access to certain loan programs, and not others, or maybe you just want them to have access to certain documents, not others. So you have that ability. So right now, once you finish your document here in the settings, now we're going to want to go into the branch. So let's go into users and contacts. We're going to go to branch and branch list. And we're going to go into our branches here. We'll start with this one. And we're going to go to the doc library tab. And we're going to go all the way to the right over here where we have the custom auto-generated document folders. We're going to look for the document wizard docs folder. That's the folder for any documents that we've used the doc wizard tool for. So we're going to open up that document, and we see that new document that we just created right there. It was called sample document. It's not checked. So we're going to check the box and we're going to hit the save button. And now that document has been enabled for this branch. So if I want to enable this for another branch, I'll go back out to my branch list. I'll click on a different branch and I'll do the same thing. I'll go to the docs library, look for the document wizard docs. I'll check that box, hit the save button. And now I've enabled that same document for two different branches there. All right, so now let me enable it for one more branch over here. We'll go to doc library and we're going to open up that doc wizard docs folder, check the box for the sample document, and then I'll hit the save button. All right, so we enabled that document for three branches, three of my four branches here. So now we can actually go into the pipeline main, and we can go into a loan file and see how that works inside of a loan file. So let's say we want to show all, and we're going to go into Jacob testing right here. All right, so we're inside of this loan file for Jacob testing. The property address is 789 Main Street, Pasadena, California, 91101. So now if I go to the Docs tab and I scroll down and I look for the auto-generated docs section, now I'll see the custom auto-generated docs section to the right, and we see our document wizard docs folder. So if we open up that folder, now we see the sample document right there. You have a PDF version of the document and you have the Word version of the document. We'd use the sample version. We'd use, if we're going to use this to send or to print, we'd want to use that PDF version. So just to preview this document, we can click on the name of that sample document that we just created, and it will generate a preview of that document with the information from the loan file that we're currently in right now. So we're going to click on that, and it's generating the document right now. It's pulling the information using the merge tags, grabbing the information from the loan file, and populating it onto the document where I've told those fields to show up. And here it is. So now we have the first name right there, Jacob, last name testing, email is jacob@testing, and the property address of 789 Main Street, Pasadena, California, 91101. So you can see that you can use this in any other loan file. If I go back out and I go to, let's say, George Knapp right here, open up this loan file. I can go to the Docs tab in this file for George, scroll down to the auto-generated docs section, open up the document wizard docs folder and look for that sample document and click to preview this document. Now it's grabbing the information from that loan file that I'm currently in for George. It's going to populate the information onto the document and we can preview it. This one says first name George, last name Knapp. Email nab@gmail.com, property address 123 Main Street, Pasadena 91101. So that's how easy it is to use the Doc Wizard tool to map documents and create your own custom documents. The only limitation with this is that you are not able to create auto-generated documents with e-signatures. We can do that for you, but there is, it's a little bit more complicated. We have to get the development team involved, so there would be a one-time fee for that. So depending on the difficulty of the document that you need, the custom document that you need with e-sign capabilities, we would give you a quote depending on how many pages, how many fields, how difficult the document is. But for the most part, any other documents that don't require an e-signature, you can import yourself easily with this tool. All right. And while we're here, I want to show you how to send these documents to get e-signed, or if you wanted to send any of these documents to anybody. So let's say you wanted to use one of these documents that, let's say we do want to send um, the term sheet. We're inside of this loan file right now. Let's say we wanted to send the term sheet to get e-signed by the borrower. So I know that the term sheet is in the borrower folder, so I can click on the borrower folder. It's going to open up the folder and I can see my loan term sheet here. There's two versions. One version has a blue PDF icon, one version has a red PDF icon. So the one we want to use is the one with the blue PDF icon. That's the one that has the e-signature capability. So what I would do is I would check the box for that document, and then I can scroll down to the bottom here and I can click on Compose Email. So I see that e-sign mode is activated, and up on the top right corner, I see e-sign mode up there as well. So when e-sign mode is activated, the system will only allow you to send a document to get e-signed to the borrower or the co-borrower. So those are the only options I can choose from this list of recipients to send the email to. So I would choose the borrower right there. And you can see that the document is already attached to this. It says attached auto-generated documents, and it shows the loan term sheet right there. And then down in the body of the email right here, you can see there's some text already. It's explaining, it's the information that's going to show up in the body of the email for the borrower. It says right there, Oscar Sepulveda has sent you a document to review or sign, and it gives them instructions, right? They're gonna see this link right here. This is another merge tag for the email. This, when it's sent, it's going to auto-generate a link to that specific loan term sheet. So when the borrower receives it, they'll be able to click on that link. They'll be able to preview the document, read it, and then e-sign the document. All right. So yeah, you would just send this so that they can e-sign it. And once they sign that document, it will show up in the Docs tab, and it's going to show up down here where it says e-signed documents. This is where you're going to get all your e-signed documents collected, PDF versions of it showing the signature, just like we have these PDF versions of the full app and the quick app because they were e-signed here. And so that's one way to do that. We can do the same thing a different way. This is just an easy way to do this while you're already in the Docs tab. That's one way to do it. If you're in another tab of the loan file and you want to send something to get e-signed, all you have to do is compose an email. So you could just go over here to the compose email button. We'll open up the window to compose an email. And normally I would choose a template here, right? But if I just know what document I want to send to get e-signed, I can scroll down below the body of the email. You're going to have some different options for attach uploaded documents. You can attach your binder documents. You'll see web links down here, and then you can open these up and see those different sections right there. But the section we want to pay attention to is those auto-generated documents. So if we wanted to send that same term sheet, we're just doing it a different way. We would come straight here, compose an email, go down to the auto-generated documents. We'd open up the borrower folder because we know that the term sheet's in there. And we would just check the box for the loan term sheet with the blue PDF icon. That's the one that has the e-signature. So you see, once I checked it, it says e-sign mode is activated. I can scroll back up. I see that e-sign mode is on, so it'll only allow me to select the borrower, co-borrower as the recipient, and it'll show me that the attached auto-generated documents is the loan term sheet, and there is auto-generated text right here along with the e-sign link. So now I can send this to the borrower. Once they receive that, they'll be able to sign in. All right. And the same thing applies even if you're not sending a document to get e-signed. Let's just say you wanted to send some PDFs along with your document here. You can pick a template. You know, you wanted to send any of these emails out. And say you wanted to send an email using a template, then you can scroll down and you can still open up the folder and attach any documents that you wanted to attach to this in case you wanted them to have access to documents that they can receive and fill out or print and save for their own records. You have the ability to do that as well. All right. So that's the auto-generated documents and how you can send documents to get e-signed as well. Two different ways to do the same thing, just depending on whether you're already at the Docs tab or not.